I am Zykx, proud warrior of the Razel Empire, conqueror of 12 worlds, champion of the intergalactic blood arena, and feared across the entirety of civilized space. My battle scars number in the hundreds, each one a testament to enemies vanquished and worlds brought to heel beneath our empire's mighty talons. I have faced death countless times and emerged victorious. My name is spoken in hushed tones across 17 star systems. Yet, to my great shame, I must also bear another title, a title whispered behind my back and accompanied by irritating laughter, the human Tamer. My brethren find endless amusement in this title. Humans are weak and small. They possess no claws, no venom, and no armored carapace. Their soft skin tears easily. Their combat skills rely mostly on a frustrating combination of tricks and sheer stubbornness. They smile entirely too much, and I suspect their friendliness to be some twisted form of psychological warfare perfected over millennia of predatory evolution. But worst of all, is that one of these humans calls me friend. My fall from glory began 6 months ago when the Empire assigned me a simple task: guard a group of diplomats attending peace negotiations with the Galactic Federation. It should have been straightforward. Stand menacingly at the entrance, terrified delegates who dare challenge Razelian superiority, and occasionally growl threateningly to remind everyone of our Empire's military might. Easy work for a warrior of my caliber. That was before Ambassador Elena Gartner introduced herself. "Hi," she said, with all the aggression of a newborn hatching. Her white teeth flashed with predatory brightness, though I later learned this was called a smile, and her eyes sparkled with something I couldn't identify. "I'm Elena Gartner, Earth's diplomatic representative. Looks like we'll be working together." I had stared down many foes before. Vicious Garmok assassins with their poison-tipped blades. Towering crooked berserkers who could tear armored vehicles apart with their bare hands. Cunning Elvari spies who could slip through shadows like smoke. Yet, somehow, faced with her sunny expression and complete lack of fear, I found myself momentarily stunned. "I am Zykx," I growled, trying to regain composure and reassert my dominance. Warrior of the Razel Empire, conqueror of... "Oh, I know," Elena interrupted cheerfully, extending a hand in that peculiar human greeting gesture. "I've read all about you. 12 worlds, right? Very impressive. Want to grab lunch after briefing?" I regarded the offered hand as one might a venomous Vespian razor worm coil to strike. "Lunch. Yes," she replied, as if this were the most natural thing in the universe. "Eating, talking, getting to know each other, that sort of thing." I narrowed my eyes, searching for the trap. Is this some form of human ambush? Elena laughed, a high, melodic sound that gritted against every fiber of my warrior soul. "No ambush, Zykx. Just lunch. Come on, it'll be fun." And that's how it began. I still don't fully understand why I agreed. Perhaps she used some sort of human mind control pheromone. Or perhaps I was genuinely hungry. Either way, I soon found myself seated awkwardly in a diplomatic lounge, watching Elena smile warmly as she consumed extremely small pieces of bread topped with brightly colored vegetation she called bruschetta. "So," she said, apparently immune to my withering glare, "tell me about yourself, Zykx. What's it like being a champion of the blood arena?" "It is combat," I replied tersely. "Brutal, unforgiving. Enemies fall before my might." "Sounds intense," Elena said, taking a delicate bite. "Do you enjoy it?" No one had ever asked me that before. Enjoy? What kind of question was that? Warriors did not concern themselves with enjoyment. We concern ourselves with victory, honor, and the glory of the Empire. "It is my duty," I said finally. "That's not what I asked," Elena pointed out gently. "Do you enjoy it?" I shifted uncomfortably in my seat. "I have not considered such things." Her expression softened. "Well, maybe you should. Life's too short not to do things you enjoy, Zykx." This human was speaking nonsense. And yet, I found myself considering her words long after our lunch ended. Within days, Ambassador Gartner's persistence had drawn me into a series of increasingly humiliating situations. She insisted on introducing me to every other diplomat at the conference, as if I were some domesticated pet to be paraded around. Every introduction followed a similar pattern: "This is my friend Zykx," she'd say with that relentless smile. "He's a fierce warrior from Razel, so don't start anything." Then she'd laugh again, her favorite attack, I assume, and the other diplomats would smile nervously, uncertain if she joked or threatened. What made it worse was that other species began treating me differently. The Garmok delegation, who normally would have challenged me on sight, nodded politely. The Elvari whispered among themselves but kept their distance. Even the Krugis seemed less eager to test my strength, all because I was Elena's friend. To make matters worse, Elena frequently engaged me in conversations regarding feelings, hobbies, and something called small talk, after each of which I felt like invading a new planet just to remember what being a proper warrior felt like. But I didn't. Instead, I, a seasoned combat veteran who had reduced entire cities to rubble, soon found myself inexplicably discussing personal ambitions and even listening politely while she recounted stories of her home planet, Earth, a backwater rock whose greatest claim to fame appeared to be something called pizza. It's bread, sauce, cheese, and toppings, she explained enthusiastically one afternoon. We have thousands of varieties. Pepperoni, Hawaiian, vegetarian, meat lovers. Why would you put fruit on bread with cheese? I asked, horrified. Pineapple on pizza is controversial even among humans, Elena admitted, but I love it. This proves humans are deranged, I muttered. She laughed. Again, always laughing. Maybe, but at least we're not boring. I had conceded that point. Things escalated rapidly when a crisis emerged during the second week of negotiations. News arrived that a Klarn battleship, capable of obliterating whole planets with its siege cannons, had suddenly appeared in orbit, demanding the immediate surrender of a rogue commander who had defected to the Galactic Federation. The Klarn were notorious for their ruthlessness. They had glassed 3 worlds in the past decade alone for perceived slights against their honor. Tension gripped the diplomatic council. The Federation had no warships nearby. My own empire's forces were days away at maximum warp. We had only security details, none equipped to engage a Klarn battleship directly. The delegates panicked, arguing pointlessly about protocols and proper channels, while a doomsday weapon sat above our heads. While I stood motionless at the entrance, silently awaiting orders to fight to my inevitable glorious death. Then Elena walked directly to me, calm and smiling, as if she hadn't noticed chaos erupting around her. "Zykx," she said brightly. "Do you want to come with me? I think we can handle this." I stared at her, utterly baffled. "Handle what?" "That battleship," she replied, tapping her wrist communicator. "I've arranged a shuttle. Should be here in 5 minutes." "You intend to attack a Klarn battleship with a shuttle?" I asked, wondering if the stress had finally broken her mind. "Don't be silly," Elena laughed. "We're going to talk to them." "Talk?" "Yes, talk. You know, conversation. Diplomacy. They have threatened to annihilate the station. Which is exactly why we need to talk to them before they do it," Elena said reasonably, as if this made any sort of sense. And before I knew what had happened, we were in a shuttle hurtling straight toward the enemy flagship. Elena spent the entire journey calmly humming a human tune, something about sunshine and shoulders, while I contemplated the 17 different ways we were about to die. "Elena," I finally said, "this is madness. They will kill us the moment we dock." "Maybe," she replied cheerfully. "But maybe not. Worth a try, right?" "Worth a," I sputtered. "This is not how warriors approach battle." "Good thing we're not going into battle, then," Elena said. "We're going into a conversation. Much less stabbing involved. Usually." We docked unopposed, likely because no sane commander would anticipate such brazen stupidity, and stepped into Klarn flagship's bridge. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of our delegation's entire complex. Armored, clawed Klarn warriors, each nearly twice my size and bristling with weapons, turned to stare at us. Their commander towered above them all, a scar behemoth who had reportedly killed 50 opponents in personal combat. He was apparently furious at our arrival. "What is this madness?" the Klarn commander roared, his voice vibrating with barely contained rage. "Do you humans intend to insult me by sending a pathetic female diplomat and a Razelian pet?" I snarled, every muscle in my body coiling to charge. I would die Certainly, but I would take several of them with me. My honor demanded it. But Elena's hand on my arm stopped me. Just a gentle touch, nothing forceful. But somehow it held me in place. No need for hostility, she said warmly, stepping forward into the killing zone without a trace of fear. We just wanted to talk this out. Surely we can find a solution that works for everyone. You mock me, the commander growled, his claws extending. I will annihilate your station if the traitor isn't delivered to me within the hour. Then I will reduce your homeworlds to ash. Elena nodded thoughtfully, as if he had just suggested a lunch venue rather than genocide. I understand. It's an honor thing, right? This traitor disrespected your command, betrayed your fleet, made you look weak in front of your warriors. The Klarn hesitated. I watched, amazed, as his rage faltered slightly. Indeed, he rumbled. He questioned my authority, refused a direct order, fled like a coward. I see, Elena continued, her voice gentle. That must have been humiliating, having your authority challenged like that, especially in front of your crew. No commander should have to endure such disrespect. The Klarn's claws clicked uncertainly on the command console. You understand? Of course I do, Elena said. Leadership is hard. Respect is earned, but it can be lost so easily. One act of defiance, and suddenly everyone thinks they can question you. I realized what she was doing. She wasn't just talking. She was validating his anger, making him feel heard. It was a manipulation technique, certainly, but executed with such genuine empathy that it didn't feel like manipulation at all. But here's the thing, Elena continued. Killing him won't restore your honor. Your crew already knows what happened. Destroying a station full of diplomats won't change that. It might even make things worse. How? The commander demanded, though his tone had shifted from rage to genuine curiosity. Because it looks like you're overreacting, Elena said bluntly. Like you're so insecure about one defector that you have to commit genocide to feel powerful again. Is that really how you want to be remembered? Silence filled the bridge. I held my breath, certain we had seconds to live. Then Elena smiled. But what if we could offer something better? Something that would actually restore your honor in a meaningful way. The Klarn leaned forward. Speak. How about an official apology from the Federation? Elena suggested. Not just any apology. A formal declaration broadcast to every civilization in the galaxy. The Federation publicly acknowledging that you were wronged, that your authority was disrespected, that you have every right to be angry. The commander's eyes narrowed. You believe mere words could appease me? Words backed by diplomacy, Elena clarified gently. Broadcast to every corner of the galaxy. Your enemies would see the mighty Galactic Federation humbled before you. Your warriors would see you extract concessions from the most powerful political body in known space. And that traitor? He'd have to live knowing that his betrayal didn't weaken you. It strengthened you. I watched as the Klarn commander processed this. I could see his tactical mind working, weighing the options, glory through destruction versus glory through political victory. Additionally, Elena added, I could arrange for the Federation to issue a formal commendation of your fleet service record, recognition of your victories, public acknowledgement of your strength. The commander's claws drummed on the console. His crew watched, waiting for his decision. Finally, he growled in reluctant approval. I accept your offer, human, he rumbled. But mark my words. If the Federation fails in this promise, your worlds will burn. I will hold you personally accountable. Understood, Elena said cheerfully, as if he'd just agreed to a pleasant dinner instead of conditional genocide. I'll have the documents ready for your review within the hour. And, Commander, thank you for being reasonable. It takes a strong leader to choose wisdom over violence. She turned on her heel and gestured casually for me to follow. I did, still processing what I had just witnessed. We made it back to the shuttle without incident. The moment the door sealed, I rounded on Elena. That was the most reckless, foolish, suicidal. Effective, Elena suggested. Terrifying thing I have ever witnessed. I finished. You could have been killed. We could have been killed. But we weren't, Elena pointed out. And now hundreds of thousands of people won't die. I'd say that's a win. I shook my head in disbelief. You are insane. All humans must be insane. Elena grinned. Maybe a little, but we're also pretty good at not dying. Back on the shuttle, as we flew away from the Klarn battleship, Elena turned to me, her expression serious for the first time since I'd known her. Thanks, Zykx. It was comforting having you there. The Klarn respected your strength. I could tell, having a Razelian warrior at my back made them think twice about just killing us outright. I shook my head. I did nothing. You defeated them with words alone. She grinned. Ah, but your reputation helped. Who wants to upset a Razelian warlord and his human friend, right? We're a team. Friend, I asked, the word feeling strange on my tongue. Warriors did not have friends. We had comrades, battle brothers, fellow soldiers. But friends? Of course. Elena smiled softly. You helped me face down an entire Klarn battleship and its crew. That makes us friends. From the moment we returned, my fellow Razelians greeted me with barely suppressed amusement. So, Zykx, Tamer humans, how was your adventure with the tiny diplomat? Did the human defend you with harsh language? Perhaps you should get a collar to match your pet's leash. I growled. But Elena merely laughed again and looped her arm around my battle-scarred shoulder, as if this were perfectly normal. Ignore them, Zykx. You're amazing, and they're just jealous they don't have a human friend. I wanted to protest, wanted to roar, to deny the ridiculous claim that I've been tamed by a mere human diplomat who barely reached my chest plates. Instead, I sighed deeply into my eternal shame, allowed her to lead me away toward another of her lunch meetings. Several diplomatic missions later, Elena approached me with that particular glint in her eye that I had learned meant trouble. Hey, Zykx, there's something fluffy in the lounge I think you should see. Fluffy? I asked suspiciously. In my experience, Elena's definition of fluffy differed significantly from any sane being's. Yes, a Kexilian Deathstalker ambassador brought it. Absolutely adorable. That creature is an apex predator, I pointed out cautiously. The Kexilian Deathstalker has 14 different ways to kill a fully armored warrior. Its venom can melt through hull plating. Why in the name of the Empire would you want to touch it? She grinned mischievously. Come see. When I arrived at the lounge, my horror grew. There, the feared Deathstalker, a creature that had once destroyed an entire military outpost, lay curled in Elena's lap like a domesticated hatchling, emitting a quiet, satisfied purr as she stroked its lethal spines with complete disregard for her own safety. It's actually quite friendly, she chirped happily, as if this were somehow reasonable. Elena, I warned, my voice shaking with barely contained disbelief, that beast could kill an entire battalion in under 3 minutes. Oh, hush, she interrupted gently, scratching behind his mandibles in a spot that made the creature's back leg twitch with apparent pleasure. He's just misunderstood. Much like a certain Razelian I know. My fists clenched. My pride demanded I storm out, report this madness to station security. Anything other than accept this insanity. Instead, I reluctantly approached, sat beside her with extreme caution, and eventually, at her insistence, placed a hesitant claw upon the softly rumbling predator. It didn't kill me. Instead, it opened one eye, regarded me briefly, then resumed purring. I was done. Completely done. The weeks that followed brought more incidents. Elena insisted on teaching me human card games. It's called poker, Zykx. You have to learn to bluff. She dragged me to something called a movie night, where we watched humans defeating various alien threats through improbable means. She even convinced me to try pizza, which I grudgingly admitted was not entirely terrible, though I would never tell her that. But the worst came when she organized what she called a team-building exercise. It'll be fun, she insisted. Just you, me, and a few other diplomats. We'll do some trust exercises, maybe share stories. Absolutely not, I declared. I am a warrior of the Razel Empire. I do not participate in trust exercises. Please. Elena asked, employing what I had learned to recognize as her most devastating weapon, the puppy eyes technique, where she made her eyes larger and somehow more reflective. I lasted approximately 4 seconds before surrendering. The team-building exercise involved me, a champion of the Blood Arena, sitting in a circle with a Garmok assassin, an Elvari spy, 2 Federation admirals, and Elena, sharing personal growth experiences. When it was my turn to speak, I fully intended to remain silent. But Elena's encouraging smile somehow opened floodgates I didn't know existed. I have spent my entire life fighting. I found myself saying, I was spawned into warrior caste, trained from hatching. I know nothing but combat. Is that what you want? Elena asked gently. The question struck me like a plasma bolt. Want? Warriors did not concern themselves with wants. We fulfilled our purpose, served the Empire, brought glory to our people. But did I want it? I do not know. I admitted, the words feeling like betrayal. I have never considered alternatives. Well, Elena said, her smile soft and understanding, maybe it's time to start considering them. You're more than just a warrior, Zykx. You're intelligent, loyal, surprisingly good at poker. I won once, and you make an excellent friend, Elena finished. Whatever you decide, you have options. You deserve to choose your own path. To my absolute horror, I felt my eyes begin to moisten, a Razelian response to extreme emotional distress. Several of my fellow warriors would later swear they saw the mighty Zykx shed a tear during that moment. I will neither confirm nor deny these rumors to this day. Elena Gartner remains a bane of my existence and, inexplicably, my closest ally. She drags me into her absurd schemes, effortlessly manipulates my fearsome reputation to her advantage, and insists on introducing me to every being she encounters as if I were some sort of trophy. She has ruined my reputation among my people. Where once I was feared, I am now the Razelian with a human friend. Where once I inspired terror, I now inspire questions like, is it true you play poker? And did you really pet a Deathstalker? My battle brothers make endless jokes. My commanders shake their heads in disappointment. My enemies have begun sending me gift baskets instead of challenge duels. Yet, perhaps the most humiliating truth of all is that I have come to accept, even cherish, her friendship. For despite her lack of claws or venom or armored carapace, Ambassador Elena Gartner possesses something far more terrifying than mere strength. The unfathomable, unstoppable force of relentless human friendliness. She weaponizes kindness with the precision of a master tactician. She deploys empathy like orbital strikes. She conquers through compassion more effectively than any army could through force. And somehow, against all logic, against all warrior training, against everything I thought I knew about the universe, I have become her willing companion in the strange campaign of radical niceness. Last week, she convinced me to attend something called a birthday party. My own birthday. I didn't even know humans celebrated the anniversary of one spawning. There was cake. There were decorations. There were other diplomats singing an extremely bizarre song about happy birthday. It was the most uncomfortable 3 hours of my life that I have never felt more honored as, oh yes, I confess to the galaxy. I am Zykx, proud warrior of the Razel Empire, conqueror of 12 worlds, champion of the intergalactic blood arena, and I have been thoroughly, completely, irreversibly tamed by a human. But the secret I will never admit to my battle brothers, the truth I barely admit to myself, is that the human tamed me first, and I am grateful for it. Because for the first time in my warrior existence, I have discovered that there are victories beyond battle, glory beyond conquest, and strength beyond physical might. I have discovered friendship, and it is, I must reluctantly acknowledge, not entirely terrible. In fact, to use a human expression Elena taught me, it's actually pretty great. Though if anyone asks, I was coerced through psychological warfare. For the honor of the Empire, of course.